Om Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sesat Sai Loksaya Gurukulam online classes. We have seen some important things in the previous classes about periodic classification of elements, and just let us recall those topics. Classification of elements, Dobereiner's model, and what do you call it? It is called as triads, Dobereiner's triads. So what is the speciality of that? He took sets of 3 elements like lithium, sodium, potassium, and the law says when 3 elements are arranged in the increasing order of atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle is the average of the first and the last. That is called as law of triads. But there were some defects in that. The main defect is it cannot be applied to all the elements then discovered. So that law has to be changed. So it is said necessity is the mother of invention. So when some problem rise, we'll think of new and new alternatives, right? So then came Newland, who gave another interesting and important law called as law of octaves. He was interested in music, it seems. So he said that when the elements are arranged in the increasing order of atomic masses, the first element in the series resembles with the 8th, and so on. Just as the musical notes sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. So the first sa resembles with the 8th sa. Sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, ri, sa. So like that, there will be a regular repetition of properties. So that's why the name Newland's law of octaves. And this law of octaves also could not be applied for all the 63 elements discovered then. Only up to 40 elements it was applicable. For the remaining element there was no solution. Then came a Russian scientist by name Mendeleev, who got some intuition that all the 63 elements then discovered, he got an idea that the elements are to be arranged in the vertical columns called as groups and horizontal rows called as periods. So hence he created a table, periodic table, on the basis of a law. Mendeleev's periodic law says when the elements are arranged in the increasing order of atomic masses, they show regular gradation in the properties. He made a table having 8 groups, 1 to 8. and 1 to 7th have subgroups also, A, B, like that. And then he made periods, the horizontal periods 1 to 6. In that 4, 5, 6 had 2 rows. So in a way he made a new innovation, and he said that elements of the same property should be in the same group. Again, there was some defects in the Mendeleev's periodic table, the main being the role of isotopes. Elements having isotopes have been given the same place, and in some positions 2 elements are put in the same group. So in such cases the periodic law fails. Then came the modern Moseley's law in view of the demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. One is about isotopes, second is that atomic mass of cobalt and nickel, if you take, the atomic mass of lesser mass was put next, higher mass was put first. So there was a ambiguity as far as the table is concerned, and so many like that. So all these defects were considered, and then came the new modern periodic table, which we will see after some time. Before that, let us see the home assignments. First question, I think all of you have prepared, right? In Mendeleev's periodic classification, state whether chemically similar elements are placed in a group or a period. Similar property, where do you find? We find in groups. What are groups? They are the vertical columns in a periodic table, right? So we find that there will be chemically similar elements in a group. And second question, Mendeleev's periodic table had some blank spaces. What do they signify? Mendeleev was a very intelligent scientist who told that, who gave a challenge for the coming scientist, budding scientist, young scientist like you. He said that I left some gaps because he could not fill up. The elements were not completely found at then. So he left some blank spaces. What do they signify? There were the blank spaces, the position of elements which are yet to be discovered. So the new elements to be discovered were given places like radium, polonium, germanium, etc., etc. So for all such elements they left some blank spaces. That is speciality of Mendeleev's periodic table. Now next question is, write any 2 achievements of the Mendeleev's periodic table. First achievement, it included all the 63 elements known at that time. So that is his achievement. And then on the basis of their atomic mass. What is atomic mass? Sum total of protons and neutrons are called atomic mass. So what happened? Because of this, it facilitated systematic study of the elements. That is the first merit. Second achievement is, it helped in understanding the valency of elements given by the group number. For example, first group elements have valency 1. What is valency? combining capacity of an element is called as valency. How to measure it? By the number of electrons given out or number of electrons taken in by an atom of an element is called as valency. So group 1 will have 1 valency, group 2 will have 2 valency, and so on. So you can find out the valency of the given elements. Next question, use Mendeleev's periodic table to predict the formula for these oxides. Some metals names are given. You have to write the oxide name. Potassium, its oxide is potassium oxide K2O. Carbon, it's a non-metal, its oxide is carbon dioxide. Of course, carbon has two oxides, one is carbon monoxide, another is carbon dioxide. Aluminium, it's a metal, Al2O3, aluminium oxide. It is an example for amphoteric oxide. And silicon, silicon dioxide, sodium, sodium oxide. I think you know how to get the formula. Suppose the valency of sodium is, I studied in the previous class, 1, and that of oxygen is 2. Oxide is 2, no? So you have Na2O. Na2O is the formula for sodium oxide. Similarly, if you take aluminium, aluminum valency is 3, oxide is 2. So you have Al2O3. Al2O3. So that is the formula for aluminum oxide. So also all others like that only. In case of carbon dioxide, carbon valency is 4, oxide is 2. So you have C2O4. If you simplify that, you have C1, 2 on the 2 2s are. So this will be equal to CO2, carbon dioxide. And in case of silicon dioxide, silicon valency is 4, oxide is 2. So we have Si2O4. If you simplify, you have SiO2, silicon dioxide. And potassium oxide, potassium valency is 1, oxide is valency 2. So you have K2O. You already seen in the previous class how to get the formula. Okay, this is the third question. I think all of you have answered this. Fourth question, all of you have answered this. How can you get these formulas? By seeing the table, Mendeleev's periodic table. Now all of you ready? Come on, all of you open your books, open your pens, get ready. Okay, now we will come to today's topic. And today's topic is, after the Mendeleev, the defects were found and all the defects were eradicated or removed in the modern periodic table. It was discovered by Henry Moseley in 1913. An English physicist discovered that atomic number is the most fundamental property. What is the atomic number? Nothing but Z. And what is Z stand for? Number of protons or electrons. Number of protons or electrons present in atom of an element is called atomic number. In an atom, where is the position of protons? Protons will be in the nucleus. Electrons will be going around, just as solar system. Sun is at the center and all the planets will be going around. So also we should have God as the center. All our life should be based on God. And all our activities, what you do from morning till night, should be centered around God as a basis. You have to offer it to God. Whatever good is there, you have to offer it to God. Whatever bad is there, that also you have to offer it to God. So God must be the center. So in an atom, there will be a center called as nucleus. In the nucleus, there are two particles, namely protons and neutrons. What do electrons do? They will be going around. Okay. So here, number of electrons is equal to number of protons. That's why every atom is said to be electrically neutral. And this is what is called as atomic number. So Mosley said that after finding the defects in the Mendeleev's periodic table, he said that atomic number is the better chance or better offer. So it is defined as the number of protons or electrons present in an atom of an element. Okay. On the basis of this, we will define the modern periodic law, which states that the chemical and physical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. It's a very important one. And when you say elements, it includes compounds also. He said that the chemical properties and physical properties of elements and their compounds are periodic. What do you mean periodic? Repeat at regular intervals. That is called as periodic. Functions of their atomic numbers. Okay, that is what is called the modern periodic law. All of you learn it. Okay, so very important. On the basis of this law, this is Henry Moseley who discovered this law, and on the basis of this law, modern periodic table, also called as long form periodic table, is constructed. Even now also it is there. That is why the name modern. So the periodic table based on the modern periodic law is called modern periodic table. It's also called long form periodic table. Why it is called long form? Because the length of the table is long compared to Mendeleev's periodic table. That's why I use the long form periodic table. So this is the table. Now just I will explain briefly. Once again we will see that afterwards. Here you see the vertical columns are called as groups. There are from group 1 to group 18. We have got 18 groups. So there will be 18 groups. How the groups are made? Groups are made on the basis of valence electrons or electronic contributions. Okay, here all these, hydrogen has 1 valence electron, lithium also 1, sodium also 1. Here as you go down the group, number of shells also increases. Here it is only one shell, it is K shell. Here it is 2 shells, K and L. This is KLM, 3 shells, like that. As you go down, the shell number increases, but the valence electrons remains the same. Valence electrons remain the same. First group, only 1 valence electron. Second, 2. Third, 3. Fourth, 4. After that, 8 minus you must take. So 8 minus, say if it is 5, 8 minus 5, 8 minus 6, 8 minus 7, like that. So 1 to 4th as usual, after 5th, 8 minus you must make. That is the number of valence electrons. Okay. So there will be 4 blocks. This block is called S block. This block is called P block. This is called as D block. And lastly, this one is called as F block. Okay. Depending on the block at which the electronic configuration ends. Here S, it ends with S, therefore it is called S block. Here it ends with P block. And we find most of the metals on the left hand side of the periodic table, non-metals on the right side of the periodic table. And the inert gases are put in the 18th group. Inert gases also called as noble gases. They have sufficient number of electrons in the outermost orbit. For example, helium has 2 electrons, 1 shell, and this has got 8, 2 and 8, L shell 8. This also 8. So all of them have 8, and that is why it's called as inert. Neither gives out electrons or takes in electrons. They are chemically inactive. And this middle portion is called as transition elements. Starting from 3rd group to say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here it is 12. So 3rd to 12, a series of 10 groups are there. All these are called transition elements. Why they are called so? Because the property changes. These are metals, they are non-metals. In between you have change of metallic to non-metallic. That's why it's called as transition elements. And coming to periods. What are periods? The horizontal rows are called as periods. How many periods are there? 1 to 7. Which is the shortest period? Period number 1, which has got 2 electrons and hence 2 elements, hydrogen and helium. Period 2, 3 are called as short periods. Short periods. They have got 8 electrons each, 8 elements each. So that's why they are put in the 2nd and 3rd period called short periods. And period number 4 and 5, they are called as long periods. because they have 18 elements. For example, it starts with potassium here, ends with the krypton there. There are 18 elements. So, the fourth and fifth are called as long periods. And the sixth and seventh is called as longest periods because they have 32 elements. That is why the name long form. So actually should have written all 32 elements here, but it doesn't look nice. It looks awkward. So what they did is, after 18 is over, the remaining 14 elements are separated and they are kept in a separate block. That is called as F block. And there are a series of 14 elements. It starts with lanthanum 57, ends with the deuterium 71, series of 14 elements. That is called as F block. And actinides are starts with actinium 89, ends with the 103 LR lawrencium. So these two separates set or periods are called by lanthanides and actinides. Why are they called so? Because lanthanum, it starts with lanthanum first series, therefore it is called as lanthanides. It starts with actinium, therefore it is called as actinides. So these elements are also called as inner transition elements. In transition elements, you have two incomplete energy levels. In inner transition elements, we have three incomplete energy levels. Therefore, they are separately kept, called as lanthanides and actinides. There are a set of 28 elements in two periods, period number 6 and period number 7. Okay, this is in brief the explanation of the construction of modern periodic table. So let us study in detail now. The arrangement of elements in this table is also in keeping with the view of their electronic structures, nothing but configurations. It is divided into horizontal columns called periods and vertical columns called as groups. So just now I was telling about that. So the first group elements will have one valence electron. The 17th group, they are called as halogens. They are very reactive nonmetals. And their example being fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc. These are called halogens. Why are they called so? They are salt producers. Halo means salt. Gene means producer. Therefore, they are kept in the 17th group of the periodic table. Anyway, this modern periodic table is based on electronic configuration and it is classified on the basis of atomic numbers, not atomic masses. The table helps us understand the reason why certain elements resemble one another and why they are different from other elements in their properties. So this table, for example, halogen we say, very reactive nonmetals. And inert gases we say, they are all noble gases or inert gases. So properties are quite different. This can be studied by the long form periodic table. or long modern periodic table. There are 18 vertical columns called as groups. Each column is called as a group. The groups have a number from 1 to 18. All elements present in a group have similar electronic configuration and have same number of valence electrons. So, number of electrons in the outermost also same. For example, if you take lithium, lithium has atomic number 3, K shell 2, L shell 1. Coming to sodium, atomic number 11, 2, 8, 1. If you come to potassium, again last orbit is 1. So, valence electrons are same. So, that is a speciality in this. We can see in group 1, they are called as alkali metals. Why they are called alkali metals? Because these elements, when combined with oxygen, form metallic oxides like sodium oxide, potassium oxide, calcium oxide, etc. etc. And these oxides, when they dissolve in water, they form what are called as alkalis. How to identify alkalis? They turn red litmus into blue. If it turns blue to red, what do you call it? Acid. Is it not? Here they are called alkalis because these oxides in dissolution in water form alkalis. Okay. And 17th group they are called halogens because they form salts. The salt of chlorine is called sodium chloride and the salt of bromine is called potassium bromide, like that. So, you have potassium iodide, Ki. Similarly, you have fluoride also. You heard about the different paste, Binaca fluoride, chloride and all. So, fluoride, for example, calcium fluoride. Calcium fluoride. So, like that. So, this fluoride, chloride, bromide, iodide, they are all called halides or the salts produced by the halogens. They are most active non-metals. Where are they placed? They are placed in the 17th group. You can see the beautiful table. In lithium, atomic configuration K shell 2, L shell 1, M not there. In case of sodium, its atomic number is 3 here, this is 11 here. 281, K2, L8, M1. Potassium, you have 19, atomic number 19. So, K shell 2, L8, M8 and N1. Rubidium, 37. So, 2, 8, 18, 8, 1. Last is 1. So, in all this we find a valence electron to be 1. And that's why they are kept in the same group, that is group number 1. And so also group number 17, if we take fluorine, atomic number is 9. In red configuration, K shell 2, L shell 7. And chlorine, atomic number is 17, 287. Bromine, atomic number 52. 25. So 2, 8, 8, 7. Okay. Iodine 10, 28, 38, 46, 53. Okay. 25, 35, 45, 53. Okay. So here we see outermost electrons will be 7. That's why they are kept in group number 17. Sorry. Group number 17. They are called as halogens because they are salt producers. Okay. So this is the electronic structure. By this we can find out what are called as valence electrons also. We can make out the valency also. So this is a sample of 7th group, sample of first group and the 17th group. Coming to periods, there are 7 horizontal rows in the periodic table. Each row is called as a period. Elements in a period have consecutive numbers, increasing order. The periods have been numbered from 1 to 7. Each period, new shells start filling up. Means in first period there will be only one shell. Second period you have 2 shells, like that. So the period number is also the number of shell which starts with filling up as we move from left to right across the particular period. So first period, first shell being filled up. Second period, second shell. 7th period, 7th shell is being filled up. Okay. For example, elements of third period, which is having n is equal to 3. The third shell, namely M, will be being filled up from left to right. So this is a brief explanation of period you find in the modern periodic table. So first period is called shortest period because it has got only 2 elements. What is the name? First one is hydrogen, second one is helium. Second and third periods are called short periods. Okay, there are only 8 elements. Fourth and fifth are called long periods consisting of 18 elements. Now all this out, the last one, 18th group elements will be always having, they are called as inert gases. So they end with the inert gases, start with the alkali metals. The 6th and 7th are the longest periods containing 32 elements each. So we can, if you write all 32 in a single line, it will not look nice, look awkward. So what they have done is cut off 14 from each of 6th and 7th period and made a separate block called as, these are called as, they form what is called F block. In the F block, the F subshell being filled up. Okay, this is an explanation about the speciality of the periods. And now coming to the type of elements you have. First is called as main group elements. Elements present in the groups number 1 and 2, what are they called? Alkali metals. And 13 and 17, what are they called? Non-metals, are called main group elements. Means important, very active, like some of you will be very active. So their outermost shells are incomplete, which means their outermost shell has less than 8 electrons. When I say the word active, so some of you will be very active, both boys and girls. And it doesn't mean that you are very useless. You will be more mischievous. And it is because of lot of energy in your body, lot of thoughts coming to your head. Swami Vivekananda was very, very active. Madhyanand Bhatt was very active, hyperactive. But just by the chanting of Shiva's name, and Narayan Bhatt by Narayana's name, just chant the name, they become silent. So Vivekananda's mother used to chant Lord's name just to control them. And there only, always, when age grows, the characteristic of person can be seen in the childhood, right? So also here, these are called as main group elements, which are used for many purposes. So they will be very active because of the valence electrons. The activity depends on the valence electrons. And then coming to noble gases, group number 18, extreme rights of the periodic table contains noble gases. The outermost shell contains 8 electrons except helium. Helium has only 2 electrons because there is only one shell. In all others there will be 8 electrons. Okay. So that is about noble gases. They are very inactive. That's why they are also called as inert gases. Why it happens like that? Because there are 8 electrons in the outermost orbital. They neither give out electron nor take in electron. Say when you have finished nicely lunch or breakfast, when stomachs are filled, you don't want to eat more. Is it not? Then you will be little dull. So here they are little inactive. That's why they are called as inert gases or noble gases. And you can find them in the 18th group. There are some special elements like transition elements. As I shown earlier, the middle block, also called as D block, contains from group number 3 to 12, contain these transition elements. Transition means changing. You also, when you are very young, say age of 1, 2, etc., you are so innocent, so pure. Whoever calls, they will go to that child. As the age grows, all the selfishness starts, ego starts, jealousy, this and that. Is it not? Actually, for devotees, it would not happen. They will be always humble and noble. For others, there will be question of ego, desires, attachments, and so on. So also here they are called transition elements. On the left side of them we have S block. They are alkali metals which are very active. On the right side you have got P block, non-metals, most of the non-metals. They are also very active. In between, the changing elements, they are called as transition elements. What is the speciality here? 2 outermost shells are incomplete. All these elements are metals having high melting and boiling points. What do you mean melting point? Melting point is a point where the solid on heating completely changes into liquid, melts into liquid. What is boiling point? It is a point at which the liquid metals on heating strongly vaporize or evaporate. That is called as boiling point. They are good conductors of heat and electricity. and some of them are magnetic also. For example, if you come to iron, Fe, nickel, cobalt. All of you verify in your textbook now. All of you open the textbook and see this massless periodic table and check. Whenever you say something, you must check there and there, then and there. So elements like iron, nickel, cobalt, etc. are called magnetic substances or magnetic elements which can be converted into magnet. Good. So these are some of the properties of transition elements. And there are some special elements called as inner transition elements, also called as F block, and they are also called as lanthanides and actinides. Why are they called so? These are called rare earth elements as shown separately below the main periodic table. These are two series of 14 elements. These 14 elements starting from lanthanum, atomic numbers 57, are called lanthanides. The second element, the second set of elements starting from actinium are called actinides. So you have second series of 14 elements starting from actinium are called actinides. So lanthanides and actinides are new names you note down. They are called so because it starts from lanthanum, therefore lanthanides. It starts from actinium, therefore it is called as actinides. Okay, these are some of the famous elements that you find in the periodic table. And there will be metals also. Metals are present in the left hand portion of the periodic table. The strong metallic elements, they are called alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium, etc. And alkaline earth metals, they are found in a group number 2. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, etc. Group number 1 is alkali metals. Group number 2 is alkaline earth metals like magnesium, calcium, etc. So that is about metals. Coming to non-metals, they occupy the right hand portion of the periodic table, that is P block. Strong non-metallic elements like halogens, where do you find it? It is in 17th group, you check up in the textbook. They are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. They are called as halogens. Chalcogens, they are found in 16th group. Elements like oxygen, sulfur, selenium and tellurium and polonium, they are what is called as chalcogens, and they are found in the 16th group. They are some of the non-metals. And in between there are some very special elements called as metalloids. They are the elements show mixed properties of metals and non-metals. They are present along the diagonal line starting from boron, group number 13, ending in polonium, group number 16. So 13 to 16 we find a diagonal type like this. So it starts with boron, ends with polonium. You can just check up in the table. This starts with group number 13. So starts with group 13, ends with the 16, namely polonium. The diagonal elements are called as metalloids. Metalloids. So what do? They resemble both metals and non-metals. Okay, this is briefly the introduction to modern periodic table, also called as long form periodic table. And let us see some homeworks. First question, give any two defects of Mendeleev's periodic table which have been removed in the modern periodic table. How are they removed? Rearrange the alphabets to get the correct names of the following elements. RGANO. You must write it in a proper way. It is a noble gas. And you must tell which group it is, but it is in third period. Period number is given, group number not given, you have to find out. Similarly, HULIMIT, it is alkali metal placed in first group, and which period you must tell. MILCUAC, it is alkaline earth metal placed in which group and fourth period of the modern periodic table. Okay, you come prepared for that. I hope all of you will prepare nicely and bring it next class. Okay, thank you. Sai Ram.